Oh, such a great story
Absolutely.
there. Yeah.
Now taking a look at politics, former Obama administration staffer and Prince George's native Paul Monteiro announced last night that he's running for the office of county executive.
That's right, and he faces two others in the race for the seat so far. Monteiro joins us now for a discussion. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm the second of 5 kids born to parents who immigrated here from other places. And like a lot of young families growing up with several kids, the struggle of having to use free reduced lunch in public schools, but blessed by a great education because of some great teachers in the Prince George's County public school system who gave me a ladder of opportunity to climb, to graduate, be the first in my family to graduate high school, and go on to college at the University of Maryland where I teach now, and go on to ultimately serve in the Obama administration.
Okay, you're up against 2 seasoned politicians, and the former Congresswoman Donna Edwards enters this race. That'll kind of up the ante. What's your game plan here?
I think the old-fashioned way of talking to people, listening to them and understanding what issues they care about. As I said last night at High Point High School, my alma mater, the election has to be about people, the people of Prince George's County, and especially when you look at the number of people that just aren't currently involved in local elections and local campaigns. We have to go and sort of start with what's important to them and frame the issues around what's important to working families here.
If you run into people who say, you're too young, you don't have enough elective experience yet, what would you respond?
A couple of things. One, I spent the last 12 years working at the highest levels of the federal government, running the Domestic Peace Corps. I was the director of AmeriCorps Vista, running a federal program at the Justice Department with offices around the country. So having to work with law enforcement officials, chiefs, state's attorneys, county prosecutors, governors, county executives in so many states around the country, and learning, I think, the best and the not so great things. So that is one thing in terms of my experience. And secondly, I think sometimes we overestimate the sense that people in elected office have some special knowledge, or they understand that government works based on some unique knowledge that regular people can't have. And I think that's a mistake. Having seen, even at the White House, these are people just like you and me. They have interests, they have priorities. And so, no, I've never run for elected office before, but I don't see that as prohibitive. And again, it's going to be framed around, this is a job that serves the people of the county as opposed to elect me to solve your problems for you, but really bringing people together to solve our problems together. And as the only candidate that's graduated from the Prince George's County Public Schools, which I think has to be one of the top issues in this campaign, I do have a unique view of the county school system, seeing some of the problems that were even there 25 years ago when I was in the school system that are still with us today. So the people that I think have been in the seats for a long time, the problems seem to persist election cycle to election cycle. I think it's time to give the voters a credible alternative.
Now, I know, and you were talking a little bit there, moving in that direction, having to do with education. That's one of the cornerstones of your campaign. Talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. With our school system, and again, our students are as smart as any students in the world. The question is, what's the pathway for the young person who isn't going to college and getting away from the way we've kind of stigmatized vocational education and apprenticeships? People can make healthy salaries where they can live and have a family going into carpentry or the skilled building trades. You see the nationwide shortage we have in terms of skilled labor. We need to get that to a place of, that's not plan B. If you're not going to college, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's alternative pathways. But also for those going to college, dual enrollment, the idea that while you're in high school, you could and should be taking college classes. A county usually is fortunate to have one college. We are blessed with several.
You volunteered with President Obama during his first campaign, and I understand you said you worked there with his administration. Tell us what you learned and how that will help you now.
Sure. It's very similar in my mind, at least, that at the time when I started with him in 2007 as the National Deputy Director for Religious Outreach, a lot of folks were saying everything from, this guy's too young, the country's not ready, spending a lot of time in Iowa, a 94% white state. There's no chance in the world that state would ever go for this guy. But again, through the old-fashioned hard work of talking to people, going to where they are. They're not going to come to me because I have a fancy resume. I need to go to them. I need to pitch my ideas. I may be young, but my ideas aren't. And these are things that, again, other communities around the country are doing, coming up with interventions that it's really a shame on us if we don't use them. The old-fashioned way of getting in front of them, but I see how President Obama convinced people that he was old enough and had the right vision for where the country should go. I'm hoping to earn people's votes by talking about things that matter to them.
Will you call on him for some advice?
I already have.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
so
Monteiro.
much.